All right, welcome once more. So to our question, the first question we have is the question on, okay. So basically, let's read the question. Then if it's the one we need to use, share our screen, we'll share our screen to deal with. The first question is, my question is about the website. I always struggle to access the portal. When I try other portals, they work fine. So my question is, when are they scheduled to perform maintenance on the site, or is it because I'm using my phone? Sometimes I want to watch videos and practice, but after logging in once, I haven't been able to access the site again. All right, so I trust you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now I'll begin by
Yes.
apologizing for the inconvenience. Then I'll put it this way. The difficulties faced could be as a result of so many factors. What I recommend is when you open a video to watch, and when you are done, you log out so that you can easily log in. So you don't keep it there to have or go over the time limit. Basically, if you continue to use it, I don't think you have a problem. But if you're done, just log out so that it doesn't log you out. So again, I don't know the browser you use, but if you're using Chrome, if you're using your phone and the Chrome browser, you can definitely clear your cache whenever you're having such difficulties so that you can easily log in again. And I saw some things shared about the site not being private. That issue is usually from the browser, and probably if you're using Wi-Fi or shared Wi-Fi. So many factors. I have been able to help some of you through live videos, through WhatsApp videos, to share your screen with me, and we'll work together to clear the issue. So if you are the one that asked that question, I don't mind you share your screen with me so that we'll help you sort it once and for all. Okay? I know it's something that quite a number of you have complained, but there is no one way fix it all. For instance, there are various factors that might be causing each of your issues. So what happens is that when we talk individually, and I see that, okay, I think this is the issue here, then I help you clear it out. You see that you will not have that issue again. Like one of you was having the issue, and we logged in using a different device, and it was fine. Video played fine. If the video is scrambling, you basically can change the device as well. Sometimes, even the device you use, you remember that the site will be, how will you call it now? It's a learning site. So it will not load as just any website will load, easily as just any website will load, right? So what we can do is, when your device RAM is quite loaded, is low, or say your what is it called? Your space is low, when your device runs low, it's going to encounter that problem as well. So if we can figure out that, we can help you individually to fix it. So the fixing will be something I can help you individually. Let us try to see how we fix. Then for question 2, the question reads, while inputting data in our Excel worksheet, specifically when inputting the emails, how do we derive the formula function used? Okay, I'm going to explain that formula very well so that we will basically understand it and use it any day, anytime. Formulas in Excel are not meant to be crammed. They are meant to be understood. So when we understand the formula, basically the syntax, every language have a structure, right? And so while learning English language, you learned the past tense, present tense, past participle, and so present continuous, and so on. So it helped you shapen the way you speak, right? Or shape the way you speak. So in this way, I recommend that we don't go ahead cramming formulas, but trying to basically understand the formula as we will understand the English language, especially when we begin to look at formulas as functions. The function first, then when you talk about the range. So I'll basically explain that. So I'll be sharing my screen to explain that question, okay? And explain the formula very well. Okay, so let me share my screen to. Please let us try and be punctual because I'm quite divided here. Admitting those who are coming in or trying to, I'm quite divided. Please be punctual so that in 5 minutes, say 11, between 11:55 to 12, I know that I'll use the time, right, to admit people in. So when I do that, I know that I'm focusing on the class, okay? So that we use our
Yes, sir.
time
Yes,
effectively.
sir. So can you assign so that I can be allowing them in while you focus, sir?
All right, okay.
So are you still with us here?
Yes, I'm with you, please.
Okay.
I'm with you, please. All right. So I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, I can.
All right. So, all right. So now to the second question, which reads again, when inputting, how do we derive the formula function used? Now, we don't actually derive derive it. It's a function that exists in Microsoft Excel already, right? So basically, what we need to know is how to use the functions available. For instance, the is number function is the function that we are going to be employing, right? And if we take a look at this, if we go to our data tab on a ribbon, and we go to data tools and then to validation, all right, we are going to see the formulas. I trust we can see it. Can we see the output? Can somebody respond, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So like I said, is number is what we'll basically use. And if you look at the way an email is structured, let's understand how an email is structured first. The email is structured in such a way that we have an extension and we have a delimiter there between the extension, between the username and the extension. And the delimiter is the @ right? The @ We have another delimiter. What is a delimiter? A delimiter is say a space or special character used to separate two or more words. For instance, we have the email ada@gmail.com. This email has two delimiters, the @ delimiter and the period delimiter. This is the dot delimiter. So, and that is how most emails will look like, if not all. Because whether it's at yahoo.com or hotmail.com or outlook.com or a professional email that has, say, at terraskills.com, you basically have the @ delimiter and the period, the dot delimiter, right? So because we understand that this is how the structure is, we basically can do this. We can work for all of the delimiters, which is 2. So the and there is, so we say equal to and. The and here is a logical statement. What it does is that it states that there are 2 criteria here. The 2 criteria must be met. That is what it means. It means, for instance, Ada and Anosike, for instance. It means that it says if Ada and Anosike are boys, what it means is that Ada and Anosike must be boys. But if you say if Ada, that is talking because we have female Ada now, talking about me now, right? If Ada and Rebecca are boys, you see that Ada is a boy, Rebecca isn't a boy. So therefore, the statement will return false. But if Ada and Anosike are boys, the statement will return true because Ada and Anosike are boys. I hope this is clear. So that is what they use. That is what and stays there to serve. So we say equals to and is number. We are using the search now to say search for @ And the reason why we are using the @ in quote is because the @ is a text, right? We are using it as a text. So it must be in quotes. Are we following?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me see. I can't hear anything. Precious, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, Kelechi. Okay, Kelechi, I've sorted that. Can't hear you. Okay. So Kelechi, I tried to make you a co-host. What I can quickly see from I don't want to take much of our time is to make you a host, and that will be switching hosts from me to you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
I wanted to make you a co-host so that you can just take care of some of these things. Maybe. Okay, let's go on, please. Okay, so please, you can make use of the chat box to let me know if you're understanding this. Now, we do not want to use just the is number. We have various criteria within an email. And the criteria we have within the email are the at and the period, right? So, for instance, we don't want somebody to come and say, maybe the person is writing in a hurry and say innocent@gmail.com. That wouldn't be a correct email, right? Or we'll say innocent@gmail.com. That wouldn't still be a correct email. So that is why we have to take note of this criteria, okay? The criteria at and the criteria dot, okay? This is it. So we could end, in this case now, we could end by stopping here, just stopping at, if you can see me, if you can see what I'm showing you, we can just stop at D4, close the parentheses, make it a three parentheses, or two parentheses rather. But why are we adding the len? The len function there in Microsoft Excel measures the length of a text inside of a cell. Okay? The len function here measures the length of a text inside of a cell. And we are saying that the length should be less than or equal to 90. Okay? Why? If we don't do that, somebody might write, I am a fresh boy from Cross River State at gmail.com. You see, very long. And we know that emails aren't that long, right? We know that emails aren't that long, especially when you can put everything together without a space and now say at gmail.com. So you see, recall that Gmail, like I said, is just a username. Say, some people will say, boy too fresh. That is the email. Then the providers, either at Gmail, if it's Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, and so on and so forth. So that is why we need to put the len here. And I'm sure you are seeing the D4. D4 just means what? It just means the address. We're on D4. Look at it. We're on D4 here. That is why it's staying D4. Okay, it's just the address. So again, equals, before entering any formula in Microsoft Excel, you use the equality sign. Equals and is a logical function that makes sure two conditions must be met to be true. Then we say is number, search D4 for at. Then if that criteria is met, is number, search D4, the same cell, for period. Then let the length of the content be less than or equal to 90. Okay? That is why if you go ahead and just say, right, let's just go ahead and write something that will probably be excuse me, probably longer than 90 words, and let's just adjust the words. Say at gmail.com. If this is not more than 90, this is not up to 90. If it's up to 90, it will as well just tell us that it's beyond, it's not going rather. Okay. So even this 90 is basically too long, still too long. So we can still address that to see how we can change the width, data validation. Let's change the number to maybe to say 10, so that I can easily show you this. The 10. So do you see this? It said enter the correct email because our length have stopped it. Our length limitation have basically stopped it from entering because this is longer than 10. Okay. Christine, if you can't hear anything. Please, can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, let me know where this issue is coming from. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay.
I'm thinking if maybe it's an update something on their Zoom app or so.
Okay. All right. Okay. So far, is this clear? Is dealing with this question clear?
Yes, it is clear, sir.
You say it's clear?
Yes, from my hand, it's clear now.
All right. Number 3. Please talk more on the process on how to create the email formula for email validation. Okay, more on the process on creating the email formula for validation. Okay, still on that. I don't know who asked this question, but if you are the one that asked this question, please talk more on the process on how to create the email formula for email validation. Do you understand what has been discussed, or you want me to use a different approach? All right, let me use an approach that is quite different. Let me stop sharing and maybe use annotate and see, or a whiteboard. Can you see my whiteboard?
Yes, it's loading.
Okay, it's loading.
Yes.
It's low.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it has come up now.
Pardon?
Yes, it's open now.
Okay.
We can see your movement.
Oh, okay. So I'll actually like you to, okay, I'd like you to follow follow clearly. And like I said, if you're not following, let me know on the text. All right, let me use text, okay? So I can basically enter this. Okay, so we have am I the one? Is somebody writing? Okay. Seems moving around my, okay. All right, can you see the text? Is it bold enough? Is it big enough? The equality sign, is it big enough? Can you see it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we say equals and, right? Now, this and here is because we have more criteria to talk about. We have to validate more than one criteria. Okay? And because we have to validate more than one criteria, we have to use a logical statement called and. I think as you progress, you will see how to use and more of the logical statement. So why do we have to use the logical statement? Because we basically have an email. Let me, I think, insert another text. We basically have an email like this. We basically have, let me use ANOCK, all right? ANOCK. Me Adepeko say she can't see the screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, I can
The board,
see.
the board is just by the corner. It's not this central. So we are seeing, but it's partially by the corner. It's not.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, so we have ANOCK at Yahoo at gmail.com. All right. So if you look at this email, we have more than one criteria to test for correctness. A correct email address must have what? Must have the first section, which is what? Which is the username. Must have the @ right? Which separates the username and the what? The mail extension, which is Gmail. And because it's a provider, definitely .com, right? Gmail.com. So a correct email must have the presence of @ and the period sign, which is dot, right? So because this criteria, and again, we added another criteria, and we say the length, of our email must be what? A particular number, or not more than a particular number. So we go ahead and say, we open our bracket now. All right. And we'll definitely be using the is number function, right? So we'll say is number. So this is number now. We have to, is what we basically use to apply or search for, the symbol rather, right? So now we have is number. Well, we want to add a search condition for is number. We'll tell it now to search. I think I have to reduce this so that it doesn't go too far. Is this still visible, please?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we say search for what? What are we searching for? We want to begin to search for the @ sign first. Okay. So after our search, we'll open another parenthesis and say search for art. But I cannot add art like this because it's going to be a wrong formula. Because art is a text. In Microsoft Excel, if you want to add a text or delimiter to a formula, it's not just in Microsoft Excel, in data analysis as a whole, because any tool you use basically can actually do that. It's just like even in Python, for instance, when attributing a string, you basically will have to put a string in quotes, either single or double quote. But in Microsoft Excel, you must put it in a double quote. All right. So before I put art, I'll say open quote, art, and close quote. All right. So what I need to do now is that I said is number search for art, but where is this is number going to search for the presence of art? Where is the address? I'm going to now put an address. It's going to search for that in D4, right? So to search for that, it's going to search for that in D4. I'm using D4. Okay, let me use basically, say A1. Do you understand? By now, right? You understand reference, right? If we say cell is A1, you understand what cell A1 means, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let's say A1. All right. So it's going to search for art in A1 if art is going to be present in A1. Okay. So now, if you look at this now, we have opened how many parentheses? We have opened 1, 2. We have, that is 1, 2, 3, isn't it? So it's going to tell us how many to, that will tell us how many to close. But remember, we are still working on the formula, right? So and is still going, is outside for a reason, and is going to be applied to all of the conditions we have here. So the first is number, from the first is number, which is here, right? Which is this. We basically have 2 parentheses to close. We basically have 2 parentheses to close. So I'm going to close this like 1, 2, right? I'm closing this 1, 2. So I'll say comma. And this comma can only apply because I have not closed. If I close like this, that means I've closed the formula. That is all. But in this formula, we just have one condition. So this wouldn't be correct. I'll have to open this and say comma, right? Then I'll continue again. Remember, no space. I'm still going to continue with its number, right? So that I put in the second criteria we are working on. Okay, to establish the second criteria, which is the period, right? I'm still going to say its number again. Basically, it's like I'm repeating this thing. Is you repeating this thing without the and. So we are repeating its number, search, then period, then A1. Okay. Okay. So we'll say its number, right? Open bracket again. Okay, search. We are basically repeating it so that you see that it's actually short. Okay, it's short. Sorry, it is short. It's just because we are working with more than one criteria. Search. Then open bracket. What are we searching for this time? We are searching for period. Okay. So, and we remember we are going to need to put the period in quotes. So period and close the quote. Okay. Is number, so is number, search, then period. So where are we searching for the period? In A1, so comma, A1, sorry, A1, okay?
Please,
So how many parentheses are we closing now? We are closing with 2 parentheses. Remember, we still have the length to, we still have to tell it to count the number of, or the length of the text. So we definitely have to close with 2. Okay? Comma, is left with the length now. If we're not keen about the length of the text within this, but the length is very important because if you don't put a cap on the length, what happens is that somebody might just put a whole lot of text inside, and that is not what you are looking for. Okay, that's not what you are looking for. You want to ensure that every condition is met and the email is actually at least correct to a point, okay? Because you need them to be correct. So the next thing we have to do is to determine the length of our text. So to determine the length, we will use the len function, that is len, right? Len is used for length, to determine the length of a text in a cell. So we are determining the length of what? A1, isn't it? We are determining the length of cell A1. Then we close our bracket. This will determine the length of cell A1. Okay.
Sorry, sir. I don't know if you can hear me. I can't see your screen. I'm just in TerraScale. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
So also, please try admitting some of the students. They had this issue. I told them to log in, out and in, and they said it's working. Maybe you should try admitting them back also.
Admitting, I'm admitting as I speak sincerely. I'm admitting everyone. No one is, just 2 persons now just came in just now. And as we speak, I'm just admitting.
Okay, and they said it is resolved. They can now see the screen.
They can now see.
Yes, they can.
Okay, if you cannot see among those that cannot see, can you please do that? Let me see.
Let them just log out, then log in back. Because all the ones I told to do same, they can see it now.
Okay. So I'm admitting as we speak. I see them coming. I basically thought they were new person, so I'm admitting.
It seems like they should take their hands off their mouths. It's kind of.
Yes. It's drawing on the button on this. So can we continue, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now we are saying we want to determine the length of A1, but at least we need to say what the length should be. It's different if you want to know the length, right? And to say you want to give a specification for the length. And this time we want to specify the length of the cell. And if we want to specify the length of the cell, we have to actually give a measurement. And the measurement, we say we want it to be less than or equals, let's use 10. Less than or equals 10. Can somebody help me look at this formula critically and help me with the number of parentheses to use to close this? Should I start with Mr. Nosike?
3 parentheses.
Are you sure?
Yes, because this is the last statement.
Look at it. Look at it very well. We have covered here. We covered this. Look at this. We have one left.
It's one. It's one, sir.
It's one. Nice. Because we just have one left. We have basically been covering some.
We have closed other parentheses that you have opened.
Yes. So, oh, sorry. So we close with this now, and this is correct. Steven say he can't see the screen again. I think I only have 12 persons who are seeing the screen from what I can see here. All right. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
If your goal is basically to just look for the at and the period, you can stop here. This wouldn't count. But if you want to ensure that the length, is covered, then you basically add the length. And you see that the AND function here, which is a logical statement, is out of all of these parentheses. That is to say that everything from this open bracket to this closed bracket must be met. Every condition between these brackets must be met for the email to be taken as correct. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
let me look at the other question. Number 4. How do you label a column? How do you label a column cell at the top of the spreadsheet? And also, how do you highlight a cell or a range of cells? Okay. I think our questions are many, but I think it's something that definitely that will still add to what we're supposed to cover today, because we're still going to explain this. So I'll stop presenting this now and then share my screen from Excel, right? So that let me share my Excel screen.
Hello, good afternoon.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's clear, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So the question was, how do you label? Is this label? Is this what the person is requesting for? How do you label how do you label a column? Yes, cell at the top of the spreadsheet. And also, how do you highlight the cell or range of cells? Okay. Now, one of the best arrangements, in fact, if not the best arrangement of data in your spreadsheet, is to arrange your data based on columns. And like we said in our introduction, columns are labeled with alphabets, letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, and so on. So now, to label a column, you could just add the heading of the column. And the heading of the column would just be the title of that column, right? It can be like, let's say status here. Status. So you could just add your label to the first cell of your column. And this is going to be the heading of your column. For instance, let me show you why this is important. If we say we were to convert this to, a table, right? If we were to convert this to a table, you see that, I don't know, can you see the pop-up? Can you see the pop-up? Create table pop-up, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
So what I just did was to click within my data set and say Control T. So it basically wraps, you see the wrap around my data set, gives me the address of my data set, and make sure you check my table has headers. If I click OK, you find out that it converts to a table, and this table basically have headers, and the headers are the what? The first cell of your column. And you see that there was nothing about row header, right? So that is as easy as that. So thank you for your question. So let me convert this back to range and so that we continue to work on it. So it's still just range now. So the next part of the question was that how do you highlight a cell? To highlight a cell, you have to make the cell an active cell. For instance, I am in I2 right now, and I want to highlight the I2 cell, the cell I2. So I click, not double click, click on the cell I2. And what I need to do now is to go to my home tab on the font group here. You can see here the fill color. So I basically want to add a fill color of my choice. If I want yellow, red, and so on. So let me make it yellow. So I can basically just add yellow to it. This is a cell. But if my interest was to shade or highlight this range that I've highlighted, and this range is basically from I3 to L4, right? So to highlight this, I'll still do the same thing. It's just to basically highlight the cell first, come to the home tab on the font group and to the fill color and pick a fill of choice. So that is how we do that, okay? So on number 5, in a situation where there's a whole number and a decimal included in a data set from your explanation on total score validation, which among the two options can be used? Good question. All right, all questions have been good. Sorry, it's just that it's an applicable question, very, very applicable. So let's say we have this now. We have this, for example, here. We have 4, we have 5.5, we have 2.1, and say we have 3. We have something like this, a data set coming in this range, and you want to actually validate this data. So what will you rather do? Is it to validate to whole number or decimal? Now, you can basically use any, and I'll show you why. But when you go further, as you go further as we begin to think of the best way to work around things, I'll just share this with you. And I'm sharing this basically from the knowledge of Python, right? Data set in Python, and I'll share this and I'll say, floats, right? Float means decimals, right? And integers means whole numbers, isn't it? So floats can take integers, but integers cannot take floats. What does it mean? I mean that decimals can take whole numbers, but whole numbers cannot take decimals. Now, if we want to make this, to change this into decimals, right? To remove to change this to whole numbers, I can just come to my home tab, and I come to the numbers group, and you can see here decreased decimal, right? And here for increased decimal. So if I click on increased decimal here now, it can basically add 0 decimal to numbers that were whole numbers, and also add the same 0 decimals to numbers that were decimals. So I can probably harmonize this way. Because now, watch this, we have 5.5 here. If I was to take these decimals out, it will approximate and make it 6. What if that's not what I wanted? And we have to be very careful with approximation in data analysis, for instance. Data analysis, statistical analysis, any form of analysis. Be mindful of approximations. I'll say you can stay away from them as much as possible. So what I will suggest is to make sure you take them to what? To decimals, or to decimals. If you have mixed numbers, decimals, whole number, decimal, whole number, take them first to decimals. you can see we have all now as decimals, 4.0, 5.5, 3.0 as we need them to be. So if I validate and say I only want decimals here, that is what we have. We are going to have. So is that clear, please?
Impressive.
Yes, sir.
I really wish I.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. So to the next question, kindly talk more on how to create a formula for calculation of percentage of profit. Okay. Now, nice. So let's say we have a sum. Okay, I think here we have salary here. Let's use this range here. We have salary, okay? And let me add a new column where we basically look at percentage of salary, okay? Percentage of salary. So we are looking at percentage contribution to a thing, and we have percentage of salary. Okay. Now, how do we calculate rates? Rates means percentage, right? So in case you are doing growth analysis and somebody say calculate the growth rate, the profit rate, and so on, you know that it just means percentage. So don't let the grammar confuse you. Rate is percentage. It means to calculate the rate of a thing, it means to calculate the percentage, basic percentage contribution of a thing to the total of that thing. Now, we have salary here now. And this is a mock, say, HR data. Okay. So if we have salary, I want to know what John Doe, for instance, the percentage of John Doe's salary to the total contribution of salary. Okay. So I will have to first calculate the total salaries first, because how is percentage calculated rather? Percentage is calculated by dividing the individual contribution by the total contribution, right? Then multiply by 100. That's percentage, okay, or rate. So I will first have to calculate the total, the sum of it. Okay, so we have, I'm really avoiding, I'm trying to avoid shortcuts because Windows shortcuts are different from MacBook and I think Chromebook, so that we don't have conflicts. Okay, so I'll say sum, and I want to also share with you that the formulas in Excel are not case sensitive, so you can still say sum, the same thing, sum, and I basically want from A to D2 rather, D2 to D21. So I'll say D2, then use column and say D21. I have that now. I close my parentheses and say, okay, now this is the total salary. Okay. So let's format this salary to Naira so that it kind of looks like salary. All right. So to do that, I go to home, then to numbers group, and I click more, right? To have more, that small icon pointing down, to have more, to enlarge the functions. So I go to currency and click the drop down on this and scroll to find Naira. Basically, you are going to see Naira, Edo, Fula, Hausa, Ibibio, Igbo, Kanuri, Yoruba. So I think the only different one here is the Fula, and it's the same, it's just the arrangement, right? So I'm going to pick Igbo. And if you want your decimal to be on two decimal places, fine. If not, you take it out. So I said your entry cannot be used. An integer decimal may be required, right? Okay. So let me just leave it as 2 decimal places. Okay, and say okay. Okay, so we have them here, and this is the total. So to calculate that percentage, are you guys still with me, please?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. I was surprised. I said, I hope I'm not talking to myself. All right. So to calculate the percentage now, like I said, the percentage is the individual contribution by the total contribution, right? So I can say for John Doe now, John Doe's salary is in D2, right? I can just say D2 here, D2. Oh, sorry, equals D2 divide by what? I think that will be D22. That is where our total is. Okay, D22. D22. All right. So the temptation here will be to multiply by 100, right? And I said, don't multiply by 100. We will have a way of formatting it. So if you multiply by 100 and format it, it's going to, it's not going to be correct. And okay, if we hit like this now, this is the normal numerator by denominator, right? So, but to make it a percent, we need to actually come to our home tab on our ribbon. Then on the numbers group where we basically do our formatting, we click on percent, okay? You can click on the percentage here or expand and now say percentage so that you work on the number of decimals you want and then you click OK. You see now we have 4.48%. Okay, but if we had done it this way instead, if we say this multiplied by 100 to give us a percentage, you know, for us or to us is percent, but to the analytic tool is not a percentage. And now, because we formatted it earlier to be percentage, it's telling us 448%. But if we remove it, let's make it general. So if we remove it, this is what we have. So will this be a correct form of percentage? What if we want to use it for analysis? We will definitely have to always remind ourselves that we are working with percentage. So the right thing to do is just to divide the numerator by the denominator and then format it to percent, okay? And like I recommend, it is better to come to the percent here and basically give it, I like to have a decimal percentage because like I said, kindly try to stay away from approximations. Because sometimes you approximate, Excel will tell you that you have 100%, but when you calculate it to your calculator, you are going to see 102, 103, 101. Okay. So now we'll have easily autofilled this, right? But we can't because Excel works on a shift parallel. That is, how will I put it now? A capillary shift downward. So if you autofill, autofilling means this. I could do this now. Just come to this square box here where my cursor will become a dark plus. Can you see the dark plus?
Yes, we can.
You can see it, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
All right. So if I just double click now, it will autofill. This should be results instead of giving us the division error. This could have been results. Why is it giving us the division error? If you click to see the address, it's saying D23 now. There's nothing on D23. You see it, right? So yes, we basically need to tell Excel that we have our denominator seated somewhere and we want it to remain so. We can do that from the first formula here by making this a constant, the D22 where we have our total, by making it a constant. And
I can't hear you, sir.
Or you just go ahead and you use your $, $D, then $22. If we have it this way, it's going to give us the same thing. And we now autofill. You see that it takes it down. It takes it down appropriately. Each cell, it goes, each level down, it picks the cell. You see, this is D3 now. Divide by D22. It maintains the 22. This one says D4, but maintains the 22. This one says D5, but maintains the 22. So we can actually have our correct results here. And remember what happened. We only formatted the first cell, but it could tell that we want our results to remain in that format. So that is what happens. So if we come and do our total here, it should give us a total of 100. That should be E2 to E21. It gives a total of 100%. Okay? I believe that is clear. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for question 7 say, for some people that don't have access to a laptop at the moment, please explain how we can set up our Power BI website account and Excel spreadsheet. Okay, for the Excel, I'll start with the Excel spreadsheet. For the Excel spreadsheet, it's just for you to go to your browser and you say Excel web or Excel for web or Excel web version. Okay, then you basically have access to Microsoft 365 online. Okay. Okay, let me do it this way. Let me share this. Let me stop sharing this screen and share this. Let me do a new share. Can you see this screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So I will say Excel web version. You can basically say Excel for web, Excel web version, Excel basically, but you can still get it here. So we are looking at a free Microsoft 365 online. You can do Word, Excel, PowerPoint, okay? So, but when you click on this to open it, you need to sign up for free. If you have a Microsoft account, you can just sign in, okay? Are you seeing my screen that is saying use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and more for free on the web?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
you say sign up for free. You can sign up for free, or you click the sign up for free button, then it takes you to a page where you either where you create your Microsoft account. You create an account, just follow the prompt, and you are in. The reason why I say use this instead of using Office, you can get Office for mobile on the Play Store, but has limited function, right? But if you access Office on the mobile, it's still going to have 365 options. That is why I said you should use this method. Okay. So now, basically, this is 1:11 p.m. and we are to terminate our session by 2. So we have touched a lot of things, and I'm happy that these questions came in and they were not outside our scope. So basically, we have really done something good. Let me share this with you, and so that we make use of our time efficiently, most efficiently. Now, one fundamental thing in Microsoft Excel is preparing reports, and it's part of an introduction to Microsoft Excel. Most people don't know how to prepare their tables for reports and print them appropriately. I'm certain that most people don't know that there's anything like page layout on Microsoft Excel and how to arrange your page. So if you see that we talked about borders, shading, and so on. So all of those things we've discussed in week 1 is to actually teach you. If you don't know, you feel that, oh, yeah, I walk in a park and there's nothing much about it. But you remember that when you do your dashboards, sometimes you have to take them to PowerPoint and present them. Sometimes you have to print them. So when you do your charts and analysis, preparing them for printing is very important. So you have to be able to do that. You have to know how to do that. So if we come to page layout, before I go to page layout, let me just say I wanted to print this now. If I want to print this, I'll normally create, say Control P, right? Or go to File and say Print. Okay. You see that this is off. We just have join date and this part. Can you see this?
Yes.
And you see this part is off. So, but we want, and if you can see this dotted line now, it shows us where our page is going to cut off. What if we want these things to actually be in one page? We just want this to be in a page. Apart from the fact that we can basically shift or adjust our column width, which we also covered, you see that even if I adjust A, we still have the G, that is the email and the status out. So to adjust our page appropriately, we go to page layout. On the page setup group here, as well as the scale to fit group of commands here, this is where the magic happens. On the page setup, we want to look at margins first. It's on normal margins. You may decide to use a narrow margin. It's cool. Then on the page size, it's on letter. You can choose anyone, the appropriate size you like. You can say letter or A4. But I want to point out that letter has a broader width and A4 has a longer height. So if it's the width that is your issue, you can stay with letter. Okay. Then the scale right now is at 100%. We can scale this to fit, right? To scale to fit is to adjust it to reduce the size. See, at 95 now, all we have out is status. If we make it 90, I think that will be fine. 85, yes. 85, we have everything in. If I say go to print now, file and print, we have everything now. From employee ID down to status, we have everything. Okay. So if I click on print, what happens is that a whole lot of pages will keep printing. It will keep printing. It will print almost, it will keep printing. So, but what I need to do is to set a page for my print. And you can do that by setting the print area. You click the drop down on print area and say set print area. Okay. And say set print area. But before we do that, let us highlight the area we want to print. This is the area we want to print. And we come back and say what? Set print area. So this is the area now. The highlighted area is the area I want to print. And that is the only area that will print for me. Okay. If I want to set a new print area, I have to come clear the print area, previous print area. Okay, I hope that is clear. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
please, sir, can you
Yes, sir.
please say the formula? Let me see, you are asking for, let me see. Can you please say the formula for adding the salary again? I'm not getting it. Okay. All right, let me see. Let me do that. Then if you can look at our F column, you see that our F column is messy. We will work on it before I open the floor for questions and interactions and so on. All right. So, but to Yemisi's question, so Yemisi, normally how we calculate total a percent of something, right, is to say, let's say you work in an organization A, and we want to know everybody's contribution to the salary. And it's easier to the total salary. Let's say the company spends about, say, 30 million monthly for salaries. And we want to know the individual contributions to those salary, to the salary. So to do that, instead of calculating and say, okay, Yemisi's salary is about 900,000, 900,000, let's take away 900,000. You see, it becomes a whole lot of math. We can easily just calculate based on percent. And the reason I'm showing you this is that most of you will get gigs on growth analysis, product analysis, and the rest. And it's percentage that is used because people want to know the percentage interaction, the percentage contribution. So it's usually just percentage, right? Okay. So to work on the percentage, we need to use Yemisi in the organization now. We need to use Yemisi's salary, for instance, now, and say Yemisi's salary divided by the total salary. If we're calculating on paper to know the percentage, if I'm using a calculator, I will say Yemisi's salary divided by the total salary or the total staff salary multiplied by 100. But now we are using a spreadsheet application that has the ability to do this for us, to format for us. So instead of doing times 100, I will not want to do times 100 because if I do times 100 and say the spreadsheet application should format for me, it's going to convert that percentage into a larger percentage. So what we'll do is that first we need to calculate the total percentage. We need to calculate the total salary, right? The total salary rather. To calculate the total salary, we will use the sum function. You will see that in coming weeks, probably this coming week. You see the sum, use the sum function. The sum function is used to calculate the total, right? Sum to calculate total. So then we need to address all of these cells. If you notice, it's highlighted. So the range is highlighted here. Okay. Then later as you study, you see we talked about name ranges. Okay. You can have your name range to make it simpler. So once we have calculated the total, we will come here now and calculate. Let me take this out. We'll come here now and calculate the contribution of John Doe, for instance. Now, John Doe's salary is in D2, right? So I'll say here, this is where I want my result to be, and that's where I'm putting my formula. I'll say equal to John Doe's salary, which is in D2, divided by our total salary, which is in D22. But because I want that D22 to be a constant, I will say $D, $22, so that it remains a constant. So once I do this, I'll hit my enter and I have my percentage. And the reason why you have it as percent, because we already formatted this. So let me take it out so that you don't think it should be that, do this automatically. Let me take it to general so that it will not, yes. So this, when you do that first, this is the answer you are going to get. So when you get this answer, you need to come to your home group, to your home tab rather, to your numbers group. You can follow my pointer and then expand this by clicking on this small button here, small icon rather, and then come to percentage, okay? It gives you a sample. It said this number you have, 0.044480 and so on, currently should be 4.48 if it's at 2 decimal places. And I say I prefer it to be at these 2 decimal places because I wouldn't like to approximate when it comes to data analysis, because every difference matters. Okay, so I'll say okay, right? And you see it gives me the 4.48%. So As this is achieved now, I can just double click on this small box here when my cursor is the black plus. If I double click, it automatically calculates the entire contribution in percentage for me. To show that it's correct, it must be 100%. So if I want to calculate the total percent, I'll say equal to sum, and this would be E2, that is from here, where it starts, where John Doe percentage of salary starts is E2. So I can say E2, and where it stops is E21. So E2, column E21, close my bracket and hit enter. So it gives me 100%. That is to say, the individual percentage is correct. Okay? All right. So there's another thing I actually did on purpose so that I show us here now. So we have the joining date, and you can see that some dates are correct. You see it's formatted to date. Some to general is not date. So whenever you receive a data set and you have something like this, in fact, the first thing to do when you have a data set is to begin to look for anomalies, right? To see how you can normalize your data for analysis. Because right now, the spreadsheet only understands this as dates. The rest are not. Anyone to the left is not. And I want to give you this secret to make things easy for you. In Microsoft Excel and most spreadsheet applications, data that is numerical is meant to be aligned to the left side of the column. Text data is meant to be aligned to the left side of the column. That is, what I mean is that numerical data, such as dates, numbers, amounts, or whatever they are, percentage, should be aligned to the right. Text should be aligned to the left. I'm not talking about force align now, because you can basically force align this now. Does not make it a date. It's not a date. So when you receive it, work on them like that. If you check this now, let us make this column dates, and you are going to see what happens. I come to my numbers group, click to expand, and I want dates, right? I can basically use this format or choose a different format. If you are not, the format you're searching for is not here, you click the drop down and search for, the format you want, okay? All right, so let's pick this format and then say, okay. You see, it's been formatted to date, but we still have the issue of them aligning to the left. But if you click them individually, you see that they are dates now and they are correct dates. Okay, so what we can do is to make sure that everything is aligned properly. Highlight now and then first align them right. So we have the dates now. Okay, so we have some minutes left. Let me show you something now. So now I showed you data validation for email, for an empty spreadsheet. What if you have received a data set to work on, and you were told to remove any entry that comes with a wrong email address? How do you achieve that? To do that, we still have to go and validate our data, right? And we still have to remember our formula very well. When you put your formula, for instance, now, this we have, you highlight the area where you need to validate. There's a data where you need to validate, and this is the email, right? And then we go to our data tab. Under data tools, you see what? Data validation. But this time you want to circle invalid data. If you click on circle invalid data after your validation, it's going to point out to the data that is invalid. Okay, for instance, let's say, let's validate this data now. We'll go to custom for the email, and our formula was what? equal to and. Are we still together, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Equal
Yes,
to
sir.
equal to and is number. Okay. And we want to search. Okay. And what are we searching for? We are searching for art. Yeah, searching for art. Yes. Comma. We are searching for art. Let's use G2, right? Art in G2. Sorry, G2, right? So we need to now close this bracket twice to basically close the search, the before search and after search. So say comma, and we want to say is number again, open bracket. We are searching for search direct search. Okay. And we are searching for period this time. So period, and we close it. And we are searching for period in G2, which is our address. Yes. Then we close this again. And we want the length to be 10. We'll say comma. We'll say length of what cell? G2 we have been using. Close bracket, and we say less than equal to 10. Then we close our bracket. So I was taking it this fast because I had explained it before, and I click. That is, I've basically set the rule on this data now. But because I have the data, I didn't go and say do not collect. It's just the data I'm working on. I didn't say do not accept or inform or anything. I just validated for the sake of this. If I come to circle invalid data, you see what happens now. Based on my example I gave, based on the example, the validation formula I gave, you see that it circled the emails he called invalid. Why did it circle them? It circled them because we had more than one period. We have john.doe@example.com. So for it, it's invalid. So if you receive that, you impute your validation, then you come and say circle invalid data. It will show you the data that is invalid based on the criteria you had submitted. Okay. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so sometimes somebody asks a question. This is Samsung. I can't see your name. Is your device here? I can see. It says, sometimes when I try to highlight your whole work, it tends to change all variables I have on my cell. Why is that so? Well, I don't, sir. Let me see the question again. When I try to highlight your whole work, my whole work, well, I don't understand that. It tends to change all the variables I have on my cell. Oh, okay. I understand. I understand what happens. Now, when you highlight, right? When you are highlighting, let me show you. Now, what happens, what you are experiencing is that you are basically dragging to replace. It's like you are dragging this to replace. It's like that is why it's changing the variable. So I want you to just relax. Take your cursor to the center of the cell. It becomes a big white plus. Okay. Then you can click, hold, and drag. Don't lift your hand from your left click at any time. Come to the center of the cell. Make sure it is a big white plus. Click, hold, and drag at once. If you don't do that, sometimes when you click, if you click like this, the way it is now, you see I am basically swapping. I am copying A1 to C4. Watch it. You see, that is what happened. That is why it changes your variables. Okay. If it's this plus, if it's this pointer, don't drag, because when you drag, you are basically scattering your data set. You see now, I have basically moved this one to here, and which is not correct. Let me show you again. If it's this black plus for any reason, and you move it here, what happens is that you have moved that cell to this cell, which is not right. So it must be a big white plus, and you can achieve that by coming to the center, not the margin. If you come to the margin, it's something else. It's a move cursor. It becomes move. This is move cursor, right? If you're on the line, it gives you a move cursor. If you're on the middle, on the center, it gives you a highlight cursor. That is click, hold, is highlight cursor. And that is why you see now I can just basically click to highlight, click, hold, and drag, okay? Okay. So another question from Okanwa Joy. She said, please, sir, how did you create the space for the percentage salary? Okay. So now, to create space for anything within your worksheet or your data set, for instance, I want to create a space after D. To create a space after D, I have to come to E. I'll right-click on E, and I'll say insert. So it inserts a column after D, which is now the new E. It basically shifts. If I want to insert a new A, I come to A, right-click on A, and say insert. It gives me a new A, moves the A to B. If I want to insert a new B, I come to B, right-click on B, and say insert. It inserts a new B. If I want to insert a new E, I come to E, right-click, and insert a new E. So that is how you insert a column. Okay? All right. I think we have covered what we need to, so I'll be open to answering your questions. And more questions I've received, I've been answering questions on the go. So I'd like to answer some questions now. Do we have questions? Please send them in. And this session is being recorded. It's being recorded so that we can basically take a look at it again. Is there any question, please?
Hello, sir.
Pardon?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, last week you said we were going to do installation of SQL. Are we still doing it today?
All right. I actually forgot that, and we have 1:35. Mr. Nosike, do you have SQL installed on your system?
No, I don't. I only have Power BI.
Okay, you only have Power BI. So let us run through that with the remainder of our time then.
Okay.
All right. So you can share. Let me stop sharing so you can share your screen, and let's start from there. Are you getting set?
Yes, but you have to allow me share. It says,
oh, yes, true. Yeah.
Is there anything I need to download?
No. You just need to work with your browser first. And the thing is, I will have uninstalled mine to share. I'll have uninstalled mine to share. It actually skipped my mind. So because we need to actually download, and it's going to take anyway. How to? Okay, you can share, please. You can try sharing, or you should share now.
Okay. Yes. I can share now.
Hello, sir. I dropped a question at the chat box.
Come again.
I dropped a question at the chat box.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Let me take a look.
Sorry, hold on.
Endurance, how do we register Power BI and Microsoft Excel on the phone? I think Endurance, to register for Microsoft 365 web, you need to go to your browser and search for Microsoft 365 web version or Microsoft Excel web version. Then you click the Microsoft Excel 365. Then you create your free account and then you have it. For Power BI basically works on mobile for mobile reports. So I don't think we'll be able to use that, but I'll definitely find a way. I'll find a way before that comes, before we start working on dashboard visualization with Power BI. I think that will be in our second month. Okay, Mr. Nosike, so this is what we'll do. So I'll share a link to the chat box. You can copy quickly. Okay. Or instead of sharing the link, let me just tell you, okay, let me share the link. Let me share the link because where's the chat box? Okay. Have you seen the link?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the link you use because we want to download SQL Server Management Studio. We need to download two apps, the SQL Server Management Studio and the SQL, because we are going to write our queries from the SQL Server Management Studio, right? And we have to connect to the SQL application for instances. So
Hello, sir. Can I go to the link now?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, I can see your screen, but it's at the Zoom. We are sharing your Zoom tab. If you can open a new tab and just paste the link there.
Okay. Okay. That I should open a new Google Chrome tab, right?
A new tab, yes. After search, where you have for search, the tab search, I think you have Gemini, then search. Then you can open a new one after search.
Okay.
Are you doing so? Because I can't see any action.
Oh. All right, let me try it. Can you see it now?
No,
I think you are
Okay,
sharing
okay,
just
okay.
share your
this
screen.
particular
Share your
window.
screen and not just the tab. Share your screen, okay?
Okay, can you see
Exactly.
it now? You can see it now, right?
We are still seeing the Zoom. Is somebody seeing anything different?
Okay, hold on.
No, not at all.
No, what did you do, my
Are we just downloading the?
Yes.
Okay. Now we can see. Server.
So scroll down. Scroll down.
Okay. Look at download.
No. Scroll down. Scroll down carefully. Scroll down gradually, rather. So SSMS, see it here. Download SQL Server Management Studio. So download this.
Okay. Okay, it's downloaded. It's going to take some time though. I said we're going to download two things. Why that one is downloading? Should I download the second one?
Yes, I'll share you. I will share. Let me share this with you. All right, so scroll up now to the button you wanted to click before.
Okay.
Yes.
That's this.
Yes. We need to download this SQL Server as well. So click on it.
Yes,
okay.
I've done that.
Okay, scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay. So you can either download the developer or the Express. So let me see. Hold on, let me see. So you can download the Express. Okay. Click on download now.
Okay. The Express is complete.
Yes, it's there. They are going to be like, hold on, we will. Open the Express folder. What will happen is this. I will just explain this because Mr. Anosike's PC will have to restart. That is why it's okay. Yes, we'll have to restart while installing. That is the issue with doing this. And I can just basically tell you what happened. So after it restarts, I think in our next meeting, within the first 30 minutes, when you do this, if you install your SQL Server, it will want you to restart, then you install your SQL Server Management Studio. The SQL Server Management Studio will have to, I think you install the SQL Server Management Studio first so that I show you how it goes ahead to download other environments. It will have to download again. So as it's complete now, I think about 600 megabytes of data will be downloaded again. So as it's no, not this one, the SSMS. Let the SSMS up. Okay. Let it complete. So
it's done now.
You can click to install that when this one is complete, so that it basically starts downloading everything it needs. Then when it's done, you can restart your system, download your SQL server. Then just leave them as it is. Then we'll connect the instance when we meet. I don't know if that is clear. Okay, you can open it now. You can open that now.
I clicked on it. I don't know if it's still coming up or soon. Okay. So can you still see my system?
I can't. I think you are clicking on two different. We're supposed to start with the SSMS, the one with 485.
Okay.
I don't know what is. I don't know if you're.
Okay, this one now.
Yes.
Okay.
Your system is it not responding? It's not installing.
It's actually coming up now.
Are you sharing your entire screen?
Let me see. I'm sharing
Mr.
the
Da, I'm
browser
kind of
screen.
lost. I know the last time we were downloading SSMS.
Come again. You know what? Let's see your desktop. Let's see. Just stop this. Let's see your desktop. You can stop sharing this. Then share your desktop. Your
Okay.
desktop page. Just basically just share your screen so that we can see your desktop.
Okay.
Because it might be asking you. It might be asking you to allow the installation.
Okay, if I'm sharing the desktop, am I going to share with a basic share or what?
You are going to share this. Go to like share your screen. You are going to share your screen so that click on share
Okay.
screen, then
Share
select
screen.
the first option. I think the first one will be screen. You see screen, then
Screen.
click on share.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I've done that now.
Okay, so
Can you see my
minimize.
desktop now?
Yeah, minimize this.
Can you see my desktop now?
Yes, you can see your desktop.
Okay.
So go to your downloads, go to your folder where you download your files, where you have your, go to downloads.
Yeah.
Okay, the SSMS, the first one, SSMS there. Double click on it.
Yeah.
It's not responding.
It's not.
Click on the SQL. Let me see. Double click on the SQL.
It's actually responding. At times, it takes time before that installation manager loads.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is that you restart your system after this meeting. After we end this meeting, restart your system. Then double click on the system, allow it load, be connected to internet so that it downloads everything it has to download. When it finishes downloading, it will ask you to connect. So you don't have anything to connect with, so don't connect yet. So install the SQL, restart your system, install the SQL, restart your system again. Just leave the apps there. When we meet again, we will connect the instances. Then I'll explain the instances and so on, what we mean by instances, how to create instances, and how to reconnect when disconnected. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So for everyone, I've shared the link. That link, you can download the 2 apps from that link. You can get them there. Thank you so much for your cooperation, collaboration, and your question. I think Yemisi asked if I could go over the email validation thing again. And because of our time, Yemisi, I won't be able to do that now. But this video is recorded. You can access this video and basically walk through it gradually, okay? All right. So is there any question? Can we end our meeting?
No question from my end.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
You're welcome. No question?
Yes, sir.
I can stop sharing, right?
All right. So thank you, everyone. So we can call it a day. And I will really, really recommend that we don't go faster than what the program has designed. Because remember that a skill like data analytics is not something you just put up. Practice is what is important. And if you can, as you can tell, I am sharing experiences with you, the best practices with you. So if we go beyond what the structure have stated, you see that it will kind of be difficult for us to remember what we have learned. What we learn helps us to know. We cannot know if we have not done. So let's be gradual about it. I know that most of us are busy and through the week, and that is why it is possible for you to consume them gradually. You have Thursday and Friday for you to also look at them. Okay, split them, look at them. But don't cross over to the new week until it's time to see what you have for the new week. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much and have a blessed Saturday ahead and happy new month.
Same to you, sir. Thank you so much.
You have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.
And you too, sir.
Thank you.